Okay, so I'm leaving you for 2 weeks.
Yeah, very good timing.
I'm going to London. So I don't know what you're going through. You're going to be, you're 25 and your movie is releasing. I remember Ranbir was 25 when his film released as well, Savarya. Now, I know how much you've worked and I know the kind of like body transformation and the workshops and everything because we've all been through it with you.
Yeah.
So how does it feel? Are you nervous? Are you stressed out?
I think I'm just, I really love the film and the way that it's kind of shaped up, and I'm very kind of,
You're zen.
yeah, no, I'm kind of like when I see it, and in terms of what we want to achieve scene by scene, it's happened. What was on the page, we've kind of taken it forward. So that's all great. This whole thing of kind of trying to make the film reach out to as many people as you can in a limited period of time is what's the
Stressful
the
situation.
nerve-wracking thing, because you're like, you work so hard for 3 years, you've taken a risk, it's such a big emotional investment, your first always, and it can go two ways, right? And I just think it's a film that deserves to be seen.
Yeah.
I mean, Mehra, you were
Yeah.
supposed to do Mirzya Sahiba.
It was written for me.
So yeah, so you know how personal it is.
There was no hero.
There was no hero. Thank God.
He would have never made a film without me otherwise.
So I'm saying, how personal it's been for him.
Yeah.
It's a play that he grew up watching in
Yeah.
college in Delhi, and then for Gulzar Saab to come back after Hututu and write a script, and then everything that we've put in, and I just feel it's a film that's got all the elements like music, action.
Yeah.
That's a film that everybody should see, and I see, the thing is, I don't know how you took it, because I was younger when the film didn't do well.
Okay, so the amazing thing about what happened with me was like how you started your second film. I'd already signed my second film before my
Yeah.
film release. So I started doing workshops with Rakesh.
And then you went to Raka, and I know how he is. He makes you feel really good about it.
Yeah, and so while I was promoting, I used to finish promotion and do 6-hour workshops with him for Delhi 6. I started, I was already prepping, I'd done my look test, I got my hair cut.
Yeah.
Everything
Started eating chocolates at Mehra's office.
Yeah, because I was so thin. And Mehra was like, you're too thin to be an actress.
Girl from Chandni Chowk.
Chandni Chowk, so he was giving me bounty and
Oh God.
gajar ka halwa, and he's feeding me and fattening me up. I don't know if that worked in Delhi 6 though.
Yeah.
But I didn't go through, we weren't promoting as much as what you guys are promoting right now.
Are we? Really?
Yeah, you're promoting a lot.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
At least I'm doing well.
You are promoting a lot. No, promotions is obviously become way more.
I mean, it's it's
we
way more.
we didn't have that much. I remember during Delhi 6 also it gotten way more than what it was in Savarya.
Yeah, of course.
So every year it just got worse and worse and worse. And
obviously, social media was also not as rampant at the time.
social media started only properly. Twitter came in after Delhi 6.
After Delhi 6.
Yeah. Harsh, what is the one thing that you see me do that you won't do?
Players, and thank you.
Harsh, let's say that publicly.
You asked.
Why? Let's not talk about
Let's
it.
not talk about it.
Because I don't want to be. I'm trying to be more diplomatic.
You asked the question. Sorry.
I love you, abbas-mustan, sir. And
I just didn't enjoy those films. So
Yeah, me neither. It's okay. They did what they have to do.
But also, isn't it empowering to know that now you've done a Nirja, it's made so much money for everybody involved, and
Yeah.
now you have so much liberty in terms of your decisions, right?
Not if you're a woman in this industry.
Come on. No,
It's
but
true.
you have so much more liberty post Nirja.
I've always had the opportunity of making Khoobsurat, Neerja, Dolly Ki Dolly, Ranjana.
But what I'm trying to say is now you can make
No.
a heroine film for 70% more of the budget.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm telling you no, because I've been trying to get things off the floor and it's not true.
With not just you, with you and
Karina. And
who are two huge stars,
Two huge stars, and Kareena Kapoor has given Ki and Ka.
And Udta Punjab.
And Udta Punjab. And I've given Neerja.
And Prem Ratan.
But Prem Ratan, let's just say that
But you reached out to a wide audience.
Let's attribute it to Salman Khan.
Of course.
Let's say Neerja was Neerja, Khoobsurat. I've not had a flop since Ranjana.
Right.
Okay, and except for Bhag Milka Bhag and Prem Ratan Dhan Payo, which probably Prem Ratan Dhan Payo was a wildly successful film, and so was Bhag Milka Bhag. And let's say it was because of Farhan and Rakesh Mehra and because
Surajji
of Surajji and Salman. Let's just forget those films. But the rest of my films have also made a lot of money. Still, as a woman in this industry, I don't get my price.
Okay.
I still am having difficulties getting projects off the floor for the
budgets that you need
that
to
I
shoot
need
them
to
properly.
shoot them properly. And my sister was like, what does my sister have to do? How much money do her films have to make? How many hits does she need to give for you guys to think that she deserves more than 15 crores to make a film?
A couple of things I also want to say is you may attribute Milkha to Farhan and Mehra, but
all the promotions were done with me.
yeah, no, but I'm saying you take Sonam out of those two songs, you take yourself out of those two songs, Mera Yaar and Or Angrez. Do they still reach as many people on the first day? I don't know. And the fact that you were in those films, Prem Ratan, the song that became such a big hit, it's still Salman Khan's biggest opener. I'm saying forget, of course it's their star power and all of that, but you're still reaching so many people, right?
Yeah.
They're still paying the price of the ticket and they're still seeing you and liking you in those films. So, yeah, I mean, it's pretty shocking because, I mean, Mirzya is probably one of the most profitable film of the years, Sultan and Mirzya, so I think that's...
No, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And somebody very wise, I think, said that, unfortunately, you guys are the change and you're not going to benefit from it. The generation after you are going to benefit from this. And I'm okay with it as long as I get to make my films. I'm not here to make money. It would be nice. But I would like my projects to get the money. I'm not asking for it. I would never put that much pressure on a film.
But like, for example, if a Sonam Kapoor had to do a Salt or a Tomb Raider.
Yeah, but I would not get, like, for example, John Abraham and Varun Dhawan, the kind of money they got to make Dishum is a lot, it's way more than what Kareena and I were getting to make
Veer
the Wedding, which is, I'm like, I hate to say it, but I do think Kareena and I have a wider audience, or we could open a film maybe as big as them.
Yeah.
And we could do as well as them. And I just think it's really, really, just because they're men, and because they have a certain, I mean, it's a sort of, a Wedding is a commercial film.
Yeah.
And I find it really disgusting.
But I'm saying coming back to that, I'm saying if Sonam Kapoor had to do a Tomb Raider or a Salt, you would need a 50-60 crore budget.
Yeah, but that would not happen.
But I'm saying we should wait in anticipation for that day. We should work towards that day.
Yeah,
right?
Of course we should keep working towards that day. But the thing is, if you that's what Riya was saying. We are making the film. We're making Veer the Wedding, and we're getting a correct, okay enough budget. But we're not getting what we're.
Yeah,
I have to cut my fee. Bebo has to cut our fee. We all have to cut our fees to kind of get this film there.
No, but besides just cutting the fees, if you would have got the budget that you guys needed, the film would have been as elaborate as you guys imagined.
Yeah, but it's not.
Unfortunately, it's not, and which is really sad, and it's really heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And we need to work extra hard to kind of make it look a certain way. And it's a patriarchal society, and there's a lot of sexism, which is disgusting.
Right. So, I remember the like, Mirzya is a big film.
Yeah.
But Savarya was a gigantic film.
It was massive.
It was obscene how big that film was.
Yeah.
And I think Mirzya probably, is big, but it's like 1/3 of what Savarya was at that time.
Yeah.
And I remember Sony Pictures, first time, an X amount of money at that time, which is like...
How much was it? I don't know.
It was... Can I talk numbers?
Yeah.
It was about 30 crores at that time.
He's not allowed to talk numbers in front of me.
Yeah, it was about 30 crores at that time, which is probably like 100 crores now.
Oh, was it? Is it really?
Yeah.
10 years ago?
So I'm saying, and
I was so young.
And obviously Ranbir with the Lineage, and then you and Sanjay just made Black, and then the whole Diwali thing with Shah Rukh's film and all that, So how much, like, how drained were you in the weeks leading up to the film, and then what did you expect from the film, and then how did you respond to what happened?
I think first of all, I didn't know what was going on. I was 21 years old. I didn't understand what numbers were, and I didn't understand what the gravity of the situation was. I was just having a good time, and then when I realized that the film didn't do well, I was already filming Delhi 6. What actually hit me most was Delhi 6 not doing well.
Delhi 6 not doing well.
Because Savarya was a good experience, but it was also an experience that was a very hard time for me.
Yeah.
It was something that was not, it was tough. Sanjay's a tough taskmaster, and everything was just overwhelming. But with Delhi 6, I had such a brilliant time working on the film, and I made so many friends, and Mehra and I connected on such a great level, and the amount I was appreciated for Delhi 6, I almost felt like I was cheating everybody else on that film. And I felt very guilty about it. So there was guilt.
I'm going to ask you another question now. Why, when you were making Delhi 6, it was Mehra right after probably the greatest film of that generation.
Rang De Basanti, yeah.
You know, and I'm sure you must have heard the music before the rest of the world did.
Yeah,
and it's probably the best soundtrack in the
He wanted to not have Masuk Ali in the film. I convinced him to keep it.
Yeah, Mehra. So, but then when
they started the promotions.
I remember the film came out in Feb 2009.
Yeah, 19th.
19th Feb 2009, and I was in my second year at Chapman, and I was in Southern California, and I was listening to reviews, and some were good, some were not good at all.
Yeah.
And I was just shocked after watching Aks and Rang De Basanti. I was thinking to myself, how can this not be a good film? And then I went to see it. And the film is about Abhishek's character that is from New York and goes back to Delhi with Wahida ji.
That is not what the film was about, though.
Okay, no, but what I'm saying is that's his character, right? He's been in America and he's going back to Delhi with his grandmom because she wants to be there.
That's the thing. Nobody actually understood what Mehra was trying to say with the film, I feel.
But he's trying to say multiple things.
It's
about religion.
No, it's not. It's symbolism of like what India stands for. So Abhishek is like an NRI Indian who's discovering India again. Then I'm representing the youth of India who they're trying to break free and step away from convention. Then it's about how religion plays such an important part in our society, and also how culture plays so there were a lot of like multiple themes
that have to come together.
And they unfortunately didn't. And it's still one of my favorite films and probably one of my favorite performances of mine. I mean, I'd signed I Hate Love Stories and I signed Aisha and all of those films, but I kind of the fact that Sanjay Leela Bhansali and Rakesh Mehra couldn't make successful films with me kind of affected my career. Yeah. So even if I got good reviews, people didn't think of those reviews. Right. They looked at the whole. So
it's so similar in a way because I'm working with Rakesh and Vikram.
Yeah.
So
and Vikram and I were assistants together on Sanjay
on Black. So it's such a story.
So it's very similar.
I mean, if I were to talk about how I handle failure, I would probably... I don't think I would be like Dad or yourself. It's just, I would like to be like that, but it's just not in my nature.
To be like how I am?
To move on. I dwell in things. That's the way that I'm pensive, I'm contemplative, I think a lot, I'm broody. So, you know, for me, I mean, I hope for your sake that this film does well.
I feel traumatized. No, I don't. The best way is to keep working.
I am, but still.
No, you have to just keep moving forward. No, honestly, that's the only way forward. I don't want, obviously, like, that's the one thing I keep telling mom and dad is that I don't want my brother to go through what I went through. I don't want you to be compared to either dad or me. I want you to have your own path. And I don't want that pressure is too much pressure on anybody. Everybody says that we have it very, very easy. And it's a fact, we have a safety blanket and a safety net or whatever, safety net. And there is that, but there's also that added pressure. There's a beautiful saying that not much grows under a banyan tree that I've actually reiterated a lot. And but when the sun shines bright enough, a shadow can grow. So you have to work hard, keep working hard and keep going at it. You should have like blinders. And just keep working.
You never know what connects with the audience.
What connects and what doesn't. Like, honestly, I literally did not know that Ranjana was going to be 100 crore film.
I mean, I think if I were to look at the positives now, the music has been greatly appreciated.
Yeah.
People are already talking so well about Saimi and I.
Yeah.
We got into London Film Festival,
BFI,
world premiere,
I'm so excited about
debut
that.
film.
Slumdog was there.
Slumdog was the last film from our family that was there. So, I mean, there are a lot of positives. And people from all parts of the industry seem to be excited about it. They've already given so much love. Yeah. So I'm saying there are already a lot of boxes that have been ticked. But at the end of the day, I'm really eager now to see how the audience responds.
No,
to it.
that's the whole point. You should be more. You should keep working, and that's the only way forward. Otherwise, there's no.
I mean, I don't have the time to dwell because I have to go straight into the second.
Which is
state of
fantastic.
Bhavesh Joshi,
Which is
so,
amazing.
you know,
Which is the way it should be. You shouldn't be like thinking about.
what could have been.
It's a very good thing. I know you hate it when I start quoting like the Gita and stuff like that, but you should always work in layman's term. You should always not think about the fruit of your labor. You should always work and not think about the future or the past. Just work and just
That's
be
true.
present, and
It's good
that
advice.
yeah. Otherwise you get really stressed out and do the
Just-
work that you're supposed to do will be really shit.
It really, yeah, it'll
Yeah.
affect the work that you do.
Yeah.
So, are you somebody that follows the let me do one for the audience and let me do one to kind of indulge my own creativity sort of thing, or
I like to only indulge my creativity, but you and like my agents and stuff like that kind of con me into doing other things.
other things? That's true. But I'm hypocritical because I con her into doing other things, but then I keep indulging myself as well.
Yeah.
So,
Such a hypocrite. It's
yeah,
so
I'm very
unfunny.
hypocritical.
No, I'm very no. I don't. I do things because I want to do them, and I say things because I want to say them.
That's true.
And
That's
you
good.
should also do that.
Yeah,
And
because that's what makes you happy,
yeah,
right?
yeah. And if
pretending
you're
to be
popular, it's a great.
it's a great thing. But if you're
It's a
pretending to be something that you're not, even if
Then-
it works, it doesn't work first of
Doesn't
all,
work.
and then you're unhappy. You know,
Yeah.
so.
But the
And-
one thing that we've learned a lot from Dad is he prepares a lot. Like I feel like people get really harrowed with the amount he prepares.
Yeah.
I think so. We've learned that, and just like he thinks there's no substitute for hard work. So preparation and hard work is something that, as
Yeah,
you know, he calls himself a mazdoor, na.
that's true. That's true.
So that will never fail. Hard work will never fail.
Yeah, definitely. That
And
goes
when
without saying.
talent goes hand in hand with hard work, it's great.
True.
I know you're crazy, like the rest of our family. I think we're all crazy in our own way. But would you do like crazy stuff for a role? So are you willing to do the method, or are you willing to just act?
I think the method really helps me because I don't think I'm that good an actor.
Yeah.
You know, so I think anything that I can kind of use in the realm of, you know, what I can do. You know.
So you'll push yourself. To
I'll
whatever
push
extent.
myself, and you know, I think like for example, all this work that I did before Mirzya, the 18 months of labor, not only helped me physically but a lot emotionally, because I also feel like the work and sacrifice that you put in breaks you down.
Yeah.
You're driven by that. You know, that is your emotional tool, is the work. You know, I think. Or whether it's kind of moving out of home and staying with a roommate for Bhavesh Joshi, because you know, it fast tracks the process of getting to know someone.
Yeah.
You know, so definitely, you know, and I kind of want more opportunities like that. You know, so
Yeah.
totally. So I've done 2 films,
Yeah.
a film and a half actually, and I'm kind of I don't think too far beyond.
Yeah.
Kind of take it each day as it comes. But do you sometimes look back at 2005 or when you started with Sanjay, and 2016? 7 the film released, but 5 you started with Sanjay.
Yeah.
You know, so do you ever look back 2005 and 2016, 17 now? It's been over a decade since you've been working. Obviously, next year will be a decade since your release.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And you kind of pat yourself on the back sometimes, saying like,
I survived.
no, and actually
Survived.
not just survived. You're at the highest in your career right now with Mirzya and Prem Ratan back to back.
Yeah.
You know, so do you kind of
No, I don't know. I survived despite myself. I think that's the best way to put it. I survived despite the choices I made. I survived despite the things that I stood for. I survived despite the kind of person I am. And that says a lot for what the audience wants. I stuck to what I believed in. I stuck to my values. I stuck to things that I felt were right. And I said what I wanted to say. I dressed in the way that I wanted to dress. I worked with people I wanted to work with. I didn't join any camps. I didn't suck up to anyone. And I did it my way.
correct?
And I think that is so important because
It's empowering.
It's empowering, and it might take a longer time. It's taken me like 9 years to come to where I am. And it's really, really hard, and it's heartbreaking, and it's scarring. But eventually,
there's a reason that it's such a tacky saying, because it actually is true, that what doesn't break you makes you stronger, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So I'm so sure about who I am right now. I don't think I'm sitting at home for 1 year. I haven't signed a film in a year. And like you said, you're just chilling, yeah?
For more reviews like this, hit the button below and subscribe to Film Companion.